I gotta be honest, I am sick and tired of seeing 99% of people walk into the gym and just try to wing it. Now, you can do that, again, most people do, and still see some results, but the results you'll be seeing are so inferior to what you could be seeing if you had a proper structured workout plan. So in today's video, that's what we're gonna cover. What's going on YouTube? It's your boy John Mango and I'm back again repping Beyond the Iron, where I drop weekly fitness content on this channel to help you get to those fitness goals faster and more enjoyably and see the gains. Now, a couple things to note. We've got a makeshift easel here with 2 chairs, and I apologize if you can't see this writing so well, but don't worry, I'm gonna break everything down so it's nice and clear. Also, if you're wondering why I look orange, it's because, well, I got burnt yesterday, and I mean, I'm Canadian, what can I say? I'm not used to the sun, all right? And I've got the glasses on because I gotta be super technical. This is a lecture, I'm just playing, okay? I'm gonna make this as basic and as simple as possible. But with that said, this is going to be something that's gonna help you build the structure, the foundation to your workout program. Of course, you can go on bodybuilding.com and grab a classic workout program. You can follow your influencer's favorite workouts that they drop a different one every day on their Instagram channel, whatever. The point is there's no structure to it and you're holding yourself back. And let me reiterate, there's no problem with that if you're not super serious about seeing those results. But if you are and you want to build a program that's going to last forever, then you've come to the right place. Now, before I begin explaining what you see or maybe don't see on this board here, I want to let you know that at the end of the video, I'm going to go through it and build out a sample program for you so you get the idea of how to do so for yourself, and just to make it a little bit more clear. You have to plug that if you are one of those people who doesn't want to build it yourself or wants all this information packaged up into a program with a sample version on it, I've actually created 2 full programs, a push-pull legs and a full body workout program, which you can check out in the links down below. All right, let me clean these damn glasses because I obviously don't use them very often. Don't think that's any better. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with this. And again, if you can't see this, I apologize, but I'm gonna take you through it right now. These things are the things you need to take into account when building your workout program. They are numbered from the beginning to the end. And just so you know, this goes for both men and women. Women got to get away from these pointless glute band workouts. You got to build something for real. So let's go ahead and go through them. The first thing you have to determine when building your workout program is what's your goal. The goal could be strength or it could be hypertrophy, meaning muscle gain. Okay, these are 2 different goals, by the way. You want to make sure you're specifying in one. Another example could be athletic performance, right? Maybe you want to shoot a basketball better. Maybe you want to become a stronger defensive hockey player. Whatever the case is, it's going to be specific to that. Now, obviously, being on this channel, I'm assuming your goals are going to fall somewhere between strength and hypertrophy. So once you've determined which one you're going to focus the most on, okay, then we're going to move on to the second thing right here, which is frequency. So this refers to how many times a week are you going to be training. And this actually has a lot to do with things like your schedule, your experience level, beginner, intermediate, and your goal. Okay, so for example, if you're doing a hypertrophy-based program, your frequency is going to be different on exercises than your strength-based program. And don't worry if I lost you, we're gonna go through it all right now. So if your schedule only allows for 3 days a week, guess what? Doing 6 days a week is just not a good idea for you. But not only that, you don't need to do 6 days a week to see optimal results. If you want to upgrade your current workout program and you're an intermediate that's been stuck at 3 days a week for a while and you want to take it up to 4 days and your schedule allows for it, then that's great. I think that's a great idea. In which case, if you have 4 days a week you can stick to, do it for 4 days a week. You don't want to stretch your schedule more than need be in this case for reasons I'll explain at the end. But just go off your schedule. How many days a week can you stick to? And if you're already on 3 days a week, perfect, you can keep it there. That's gonna be your frequency, okay? And within that frequency, it essentially automatically determines what your workout split is gonna be. So for example, if you're doing 3 days a week, you're likely gonna be doing full body all 3 days. If you're doing 4 days a week, you'll likely be doing an upper body day on one day, then a lower, and then repeat. If you're doing 5 days, you're probably doing a hybrid push-pull legs upper lower split, and if you're doing 6, you're probably doing a push pull leg split. If you need more info on all those splits, just check the videos out at the top right. So you've got that. Now your goal, if your goal is strength, okay, you may not be splitting up your muscle groups, but more so your lifts. So you want to get stronger at what lifts. Okay, how many times a week are you going to hit those lifts? If you're going to the gym 3 times a week, you might want to hit it 3 or 2 times a week. Just an example. So let's continue here. So after you've determined the goal, the frequency according to schedule and goal experience level, we're going to move down to periodization, okay? Periodization is a fancy term that basically says how you're going to have an overall plan, an overall structure, and how you're actually planning each week and month to get to this ultimate goal. Now, this typically isn't very necessary for beginners, okay? Beginners can follow a very simple, linear type of progression because they're in a stage where they can gain muscle and strength quickly. If you're more of an intermediate or even advanced watching this, periodization is very important. And what periodization is essentially breaking things up into what's called cycles. And there's 3 different types of cycles. There's a macro cycle, a mesocycle, and a microcycle. The macro cycle is, let's say, a year, the overall bigger picture that you're working towards. The mesocycles are weeks at a time. These are also known as blocks. And microcycles are each week. So you determine your goal, you've got your frequency. Now, how are you going to be breaking up your weeks? Maybe, like my new program, you're going to do 4 weeks on and 1 deload. How do you determine which is best for you? If you're an intermediate, I do recommend that you go with 4 weeks on or 3 weeks on, 1 deload week off, because you do have more fatigue than a beginner. If you're a beginner, you don't need to worry so much about periodization for now. You can come back to this video when you're not a beginner anymore and figure it out from there. But for now, beginners, you'll be fine just sticking to linear gains and linear progress in the gym. And if you're advanced, I would recommend somewhere between 4 to 6 weeks on and then 1 week deload, okay? Because obviously you have to put in more work and manipulate more variables over time to achieve less and less result. That's just the reality of being an advanced lifter. So once we've determined that, you want to figure out what your main lifts are gonna be. These main lifts are key. They are massive compound lifts such as bench press, deadlifts, squats, okay? Those are always the big 3, overhead press, any type of row, okay, any sort of exercise that's a multi-joint exercise. These main lifts are labeled as such because they're going to be at the beginning of your workouts where you've got the most energy. You're going to reap the most amount of gains from these workouts, okay? And these are obviously specific to your goal. Once again, as you can see, the goal is the overarching theme. If it's hypertrophy, these could be variations of those exercises I mentioned. So instead of a flat bench, you might do an incline bench. You might do little variations that hit certain muscles at different angles. Whereas if you're doing main strength lifts, you're literally just looking at the basic foundational compounds like bench, squat, dead, for example. You're likely not going to be doing incline dumbbell press if you're looking to maximize strength. So next, after you've discovered the main lifts, you're going to move to your accessory. Are you going to have accessory? This again comes back to if you're looking to gain muscle, you're probably going to want some accessory. And these accessories are going to be things that help develop the muscle more. So more bicep curls, more lateral raises. If you're looking for strength, accessory movements are things that help you in those main lifts. An example is a close grip bench to help boost your regular flat bench, right? Lockouts or floor presses to help with the bench press, okay? So everything is tailored around the main lifts when it comes to a strength-based program. So once you've discovered and figured out your accessory, and the reason it's called accessories because they aren't as important as the main, of course, so you could tack these on at the end, then you're gonna move over to reps, sets, progression, stuff like this, okay? So for the reps and sets, if you are hypertrophy based, you wanna work somewhere between the 6 to 12 rep range for at least 2/3 to 3/4 of the volume of your overall program. If you're looking for strength based, you're gonna be 2/3 to 3/4 of total volume in the 1 to 5 rep range. Okay, so strength is less reps, more sets, longer rest times. If you're looking for building muscle, it's higher reps, little less weight, less sets, less rest time. Okay, so that is basically what you're looking at for reps and sets. For progression, again, if you're a beginner, your progression is going to be something linear. So for example, if you're lifting 150 pounds on the bench for 4 sets of 10 today, and you're aiming to get it up to 4 sets of 12, you're going to simply keep hitting the same weight until you can get 4 sets of 12. And once you do, you're gonna increase the weight by 5 pounds and redo the process. Up, 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 boom, 155, up, 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 boom. And now you've got 4 sets of 12 at 155, reset, 160, up, 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 4 sets of 12 at 160, now 165, up, 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 and so on, okay? So that's how your progression will be laid out as a beginner. As an intermediate and an advanced, your progression is going to likely be based off percentages. So finding your max on your main lifts and then working based off percentages. 4 sets of 8 at 70%, 5 sets at 6 at 75%, 6 sets of 5 at 80+%, these types of things, okay? So you need to have a structured progression through each week, then you deload, you increase the maxes, recalculate your percentages, and keep going up. So a beginner looks more like this, an intermediate looks more like this with an overall upwards trend, and the same thing with an advanced, but that advance is just over a longer period of time. Next, after you've figured that out, okay, cardio, deloads, etc., recovery type stuff, and basically everything else that's extra. Cardio is important, and again, this is going to depend heavily on your schedule. Maybe you don't have time to do cardio in the same time as your weights. You could do cardio on your off days. This is mostly up to you and your preference and how you want to do it. How many days a week you should do cardio also depends on your nutrition, okay? We're not covering nutrition in this, but I've got plenty of videos on that on the channel that you can check out as well. That's going to talk about cardio also. Deloads, okay? So deloads, if you're an intermediate, or if you're a beginner and you feel that you need a deload because you've accumulated too much fatigue, then you simply want to cut volume down for a week or even take a full week off. Sometimes that's fine too. And taking that week off is going to reset your body, dissipate fatigue, and allow you to progress afterwards. As well as, other things to recover. How else are you going to recover? What about your sleep? That needs to be on point. You want to make sure that you're not scheduling a heavy leg day after a night that you can't control how much sleep you have, and maybe you get less sleep because it'll hinder your progress, right? So these are things that you need to factor in as well. And of course, nutrition is a massive part of your program actually being successful. But that is basically the foundations to building a program. Now, if it seems a little scattered all over the place, I'm going to build one out right now. If you've stuck until this point of the video, I want you to throw down a gains in the damn comments so I know who the real MVPs are. With that said, let's go ahead and build ourselves a program. So let's say my program goal is hypertrophy. I want to build some gains, all right? So I've decided what my goal is, okay? And it's always good to be specific here. How much muscle do you want to gain? How often do you want to gain it? And what are your, measurements going to be, et cetera, et cetera. So the more specific you get with the goal, the better, and the easier it's going to be to program. Next, frequency. I'm going to say my schedule only has 4 days a week to work out. That's great. What we're going to do is we're going to do a hypertrophy-based program 4 days a week. So we're going to split it into an upper day 1, lower day 1, upper day 2, and lower day 2. That's 4 days. Hopefully get some rest in between at least 2 of those days, and we'll be good to go. My experience level is an intermediate, okay? So my goal is build muscle. I'm gonna work out 4 days a week, and I'm an intermediate, okay? And next, I'm gonna move to periodization. Do I need it? Since I'm an intermediate, I would say yes, you do need it. So my periodization is going to be, let's say, a year long, and I'm gonna be breaking up each mesocycle into 4 weeks. I'm gonna go 3 weeks hard, 1 week deload, 3 weeks hard, 1 week deload. That makes each cycle 1 month. Over the course of the year, that's 12 total cycles. That's also 12 total deloads, and remember, 3 weeks hard, 1 week off, okay? And that's basically how that's gonna be. My main lifts that I'm gonna focus on, let's say since I'm hypertrophy based, I wanna work the upper chest. So on the first upper body day, it's going to be an incline bench press. On the lower body day, it's going to be a squat. On the next upper body day, we're gonna do an overhead press, a standing overhead press, and with dumbbells, okay? And again, dumbbells are something you would use if you're hypertrophy based. And from there, let's also say that my other lower body exercise will be a Romanian deadlift, okay? So not a regular deadlift, but one that's going to more so put tension on the hamstrings and develop them more. That is my main lift choice for each week or each microcycle. So I've got those set up. After that, you're gonna fill in the rest of your workout program with a couple of main lifts, you know, that complement the muscle groups that we're trying to work. So for example, my upper body day 1, I'm gonna be starting off with the incline bench press, like I said. After that, I wanna hit some back, so I'm gonna hit a row for a compound. I wanna hit some shoulders, so I'll do a seated military press. And after that, I want to hit another back, maybe some sort of a pull down. Once that's done, we'll get into the accessory afterwards. So I've got my main compounds for that workout. On my leg day 1, perhaps after I do my squats, I'll go into some dumbbell stiff leg deadlifts, and then I'll go into some leg press as well as some lunges, okay? And you get the point there. Now, accessory. What kind of accessory am I gonna choose? Well, I'm trying to develop muscle, hypertrophy, so I want things that are going to develop all the points of my body. So my lateral delts don't get a lot of work. On compounds, I'm going to be adding in some lateral raises, maybe some rear delt raises, or some face pulls, some reverse pec deck, biceps, triceps, maybe forearms, calves. These kinds of things are gonna be my accessory. Good girls, bad girls, leg extensions, and leg curls for lower body. Reps and sets. So since I'm in a hypertrophy program, I'm aiming for somewhere between 6 to 12 reps for the majority of my workout, and that's what I'm going to be doing the compounds in, let's say 6 to 8, 8 to 10, and then my accessories will be mostly 10 to 12, and of course the rest of the volume can be in lower rep ranges. Maybe I could do really heavy on some of the microcycles for my main lifts. You don't want to go super heavy for the isolation typically, and then I can go 12 to 15 or 15 to 20 reps on the bicep curl, the cable curls, the cable pushdowns, whatever. So that's my reps sets there. Sets, we're typically looking between 3 to 5 for each exercise, starting at the beginning of the workout and lowering the sets as you go throughout. And then next up is my progression. So how I'm gonna do this really depends on you, but let's say on week 1, I'm going to be doing percentage-based progression since I'm an intermediate. So I'll go ahead and grab my 1 rep max for my bench press, and the first week I'm gonna be doing 4 sets of 8 at 70% for each lift. Then week 2, I'll be doing 5 sets of 6 at 75%, and week 3 will be 6 sets of 5, okay, which is moving into the strength range, but it's only for 1 week out of the 4, and that's going to be at 80%. So there's an example for that. Next is going to be my cardio and my deloads. My deloads, I'm taking 2/3 of the volume from my first week. That's going to be my deload, so very easy, very light, and that's going to be every 4th week. My cardio, I'm gonna do 3 times a week. So one of the days I'm lifting, I don't do cardio. The other 3 days, I'll be doing cardio at the end. 15 minutes, low intensity, steady state on the Stairmaster, for example. Again, my goal is to be a bodybuilder, so that's what they all do. I might as well do it. And that's pretty much it. My sleep, I'm gonna aim for 7 to 8 hours to make sure I maximize recovery, stay on point. Your nutrition's gotta be on point for all this. And that is basically a quick way to summarize and create the foundation of your workouts. From here, what you basically gotta do is just test. You gotta test to see what's working. You want to swap in some accessories here and there. You want to play around with different progressions throughout the entire entire year as you work through this program, okay? So that's why this is the best way to build your workout program, because it builds a foundation. From here, you can make small tweaks as you go along. You could switch your goal, which would switch rep ranges and so on, but maybe you're gonna stick to the same amount of days per week. So this creates a flexibility that allows you to build a workout program around you, which comes down to adherence, okay? Adherence is the most important. So you wanna go through your workout program and see if you enjoy it, see if you like it, see if you can stick to it, see if you can tolerate the volume, see if you can tolerate the fatigue. And if you can't, great, you know that you need to switch something. Maybe you need a deload every third week. Maybe you don't need a deload for 2 cycles at a time. These types of things, okay? Maybe your main lift, you're not seeing growth from the incline bench, so you're gonna switch it to a decline bench, or whatever the case is. Very flexible, very malleable, and this is basically the bread and butter to you building your workout program. So if you want, you can take a look at my new workout program that I'm doing. I'll link the video for that here as well. And that's basically it, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that it made sense. Again, I apologize if you can't see this very well, but I really wanted to bring you the basics, bread and butter. Of course, I can make videos discussing a lot of these different terms, which, by the way, if you want me to do and get more technical, I can definitely do that. Just drop a comment below on what you'd like to see. And also let me know with a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you like this video or not, this style of video. And I appreciate you watching. As always, guys, don't forget to like, comment, share with your friends, and subscribe so you don't miss that weekly fitness content that's dropping soon, all right? That's it. Cheers. I'm out of here.